Are you spending several $100s a month on Cursor Ultra? Are you spending several hundred bucks a month coding with Claude Code? Are you giving all your AI money away to all these different companies and not getting them back? In this live stream, we're going to cover how you go from your AI apps to actually start making money. And generating the features are super exciting. And you even see me live coding up all these different ideas. But there's a problem. We got to actually make some money to start paying all these bills. And I have an expert here today that's going to really help us get off the ground and take us from, making negative amounts of money to actually making a serious amount of income. And Alim has some apps that in general is making over 50K a month. And there's a lot of sauce and a lot of experience in the business side of the world that we as engineers need to start exploring. And with this live stream, we're going to have these different points where he's going to explain these concepts for us that we can kind of start digging through, and you can ask questions live. So this is your opportunity to hang out with us live and ask some questions. And this is also going to be available as a video on demand. So later on, we're going to have these timestamps below and the markers. And Alim, I'm so excited to have you on the show because so many people are struggling with this topic. And I've seen your video on YouTube and I'm surprised you don't have many users. You're just getting started. I was like, we got to get you on the show, man. This is really fire stuff. And we'd just love to know just a little bit about you and kind of let us know some of the first things we should kind of be taking a look at here for how we can make some money with these apps.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Ray, for having me on. I'm super excited. And yeah, that video is definitely going viral. It is really cool to see so many people resonate with wanting to build an app. So my name is Alim. I was formerly the head mobile engineer at PrizePicks. I left PrizePicks early last year after helping them go from just 2,000 users to over 2 million users and the #1 app on the App Store. It was actually really crazy.
Fix some of the echo stuff. I think there's a echo problem. Let me just make sure my audio's legit, because I had some issues with my rotor before. Just making sure we're good, fam. Sorry about that. So yeah, thank you for standing by, everyone. So we're just trying to fix this here. I'm going to try to see if I can fix the chat thing here and get that going as well. So appreciate everyone who's been able to kind of hop on the stream here and making sure our echo stuff is good. All right, so I got this.
Give it a run now. How am I doing?
I think.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Oh, let me. Yeah, I'm just getting my thing here. My bad. Okay, so I think we should be able to get this set up. One sec. All right, cool. So we got the microphone here, multi-track, chat, and all right. Can you hear? Go ahead.
Testing 1, 2. Yep, I can hear you loud and clear. Are you good with me?
Yeah. Yep. Perfect. We good, chat? Pump up the volume. Okay, let me get the volume up. Good.
What a helpful chat. I love it.
Yeah, the chat is the real MVP right now. 5x5. Okay. No echo, but sound is louder. Okay, good. You're good.
Awesome.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, thank you, Alim. So yeah, let's just kind of run it back from the top a little bit. Appreciate everyone's patience here because I'm trying this new sound setup, and I totally fumbled the bag, but definitely the fact that you're locked in right now is super helpful. And so let's just start rolling. So Alim has an extensive background, and we're going to be able to take this knowledge that he has, and he's going to share. He's been so generous enough to join the stream to share it with all y'all. And this is live currently on X, on YouTube, and every other place. So Alim is going to be able to tell us a little bit more about his background and how we can take our apps to the next level and start actually making some real money.
Let's go. Thanks, Ray. I appreciate you. So yeah, I'm not sure how much people heard right in the beginning, but my name is Alim. I was formerly the head mobile engineer at PrizePicks. You may know of PrizePicks. We were the #1 app on the App Store for sports. I joined PrizePicks as employee 19, engineer number 2, where I took over the entire mobile app and I rebuilt an entire mobile app in 8 weeks for the PrizePicks team. We were just an idea. My parents thought it was a scam. They did not want me to work for PrizePicks. They were like, go get a job in the Bay at a FANG company. But I was like, no, mom and dad, I really want this job. I just moved home from college. And I got a call from one of my investors who invested in one of my first companies that I started while I was in college. That was a sports ticketing company. Long story with that. We scaled that business up while I was in college. I was working for the company post-college, and then COVID happened and shut all sports and ticketing down. So we actually had to shut down that business temporarily And then our lead investor for Season Share called me up and was like, yo, there's another company in my portfolio called PrizePicks, and they're actually doing pretty well right now. And they need a new mobile engineer to come rebuild their mobile apps. You're super talented. You should go interview. So I interviewed with PrizePicks, the co-founders, Adam and Jay, ended up getting the job. They love me. I had to put the other company to the side and just kind of let it sit until I figured out what was going to happen with it. So I went full-time working at PrizePicks. I rebuilt the entire app and we just blew up. And I know this might sound unbelievable, but I actually was working full-time at PrizePicks. And then when sports came back on at Season Share, I went full-time at both. It was COVID and no one was leaving the house. So I was able to put 80-hour work weeks in. Ended up scaling Season Share to 10 million in GMV and PrizePicks at the same time to wherever we were at. Ended up getting super burnt out, had a bunch of mental health problems, physical health problems. I made a shit ton of money. God is super good. But I had to put Season Share away and then hand it off to the lead developer who was working under me, promoted him to VP, and ended up exiting my position at that company, which is still doing really, really well. And then I went all in at PrizePicks. And then at PrizePicks, I moved to Atlanta to work with some of the smartest people I've ever met. I literally was working around data scientists, lines makers, marketers, ad buyers, software engineers, like you name it. We put together the beastest squad ever at PrizePicks. And I was in the office every single day learning from these people. And we made growing apps look easy. And in reality, it is very hard, but it's actually just a very simple step of a very simple set of recipes that I think anybody can crack, but it does take a lot of discipline. So anyways, I was the first mobile engineer at PrizePicks. I worked together really closely with marketing teams, ad buying teams, our TV commercial teams, data science teams. And we were just fucking lit. Like we just knew what we were doing and we were some of the smartest people in the industry. And that's how we blew up to the number one app on the App Store. I was employee 19. I ended up scaling that company. And I left when we had like 300-ish employees just because I like small teams. I like doing whatever I want. Mm-hmm. Like there were days at PrizePicks, I literally woke up and I would just change the app and do whatever I wanted. And then we got so big that we hired engineering managers and VPs of product and blah, blah, blah. And I just started becoming kind of a cog in the machine. I was one of the most talented engineers on the team, but I'm much more of an entrepreneur than I am like a software engineer. I don't like just looking at a Trello ticket or like a Jira ticket, right, and then submitting it for a PR and then going back and forth with an engineering manager trying to like get that PR approved. It just started like taking the life out of me. I'm like, bro, I'm spending like 4 hours a day just fixing like one piece of this PR and then going back and forth with my manager about linting and fucking code rules and shit. And I'm like, dude, this fucking sucks. Excuse my language, but that's just where I was at the time. And I know a lot of the audience here are software developers. And Ray, you probably feel me on this since you were a software developer as well. Like I get it. There's like a argument to be made, like, oh, you can make, $200K a year just doing pull requests. But I'm like, no, like that's sucking the life out of me. Like I could make 10K a month doing my own thing and be so much happier than making 200K at a company and just hating everything about it.
Bro, we're on the same wavelength and it's amazing. I just found out before the stream that your boy is also in the Bay Area. So we got to do the link up for sure. And there's a lot of people also here in the Bay, but all over the world who are trying to change their lives. And AI is that time where we can take this and really start running, and I've been able to build software faster than I could even like imagine. I was like, this is beautiful. But my problem is I need to start actually really making some real money. You know what I mean? So like to actually give that in, because as an engineer, I didn't get that marketing. I didn't get that business. I didn't grow up around a lemonade stand. I had to like fight my way into even working for corporate. And then now that I got a bag to like do some stuff and invest in myself, right? How can we then take these ideas and start validating? Because in your videos, you talk a lot about product research and product validation first, which is kind of some of the principles I started to believe in. And we'd just kind of love to start hearing more about how you kind of walk through like what tools are you using to validate these ideas, and how do you even find out what you should be doing, right? Because I like to play with APIs, every engineer does, but they may not even help us make money here.
Yeah, absolutely. So like coming up with product ideas is where I see most people struggle, but I think we overcomplicate it. And I think technical people as well, if you're technical, you're subject to this where you are going to overcomplicate and overthink a lot of stuff. It's just the nature of the beast of how we are as technical people. But if you reverse engineer like product market fit, or what I like to think of now as like marketing product fit, I think you can really make it easy on yourself. So there's a couple rules that I'll talk about real quick when it comes to choosing a good product idea. Number one is solving a real painful problem. I know that like everybody talks about this in the world of startups, like, oh, you need to have a painkiller or you need to have a problem that people are willing to pay for. Like, yes, we know that, but what's a real painful problem? You need to think of it in terms of a salesperson or in terms of a marketing person. Like, this is the transformation all of y'all have to make like right now. Like, we need to get out of just building features and being technical, and we need to become salespeople. Like, what is a painful problem? Well, there's honestly three categories that painful problems can live within. It's health, wealth, and relationships. And every single product, whether it's B2B or B2C, can fall within one of these categories. These are the three kind of uh, facets of human life that we all aspire to have the best versions of. Like, everybody wants good health, everybody wants to make money, and everybody wants to have strong relationships and a healthy relationship with society. So you want to make sure that whatever you're solving a problem for falls within these categories. But really, where I like to think about it is, um, how do you market your solution? Like, you need to think about how you're going to market it before you think about how you are going to build it. So I actually have another I had another template here that I was working on yesterday.
Yeah, that's true about like how you're going to market it and how you're going to reach the people, because like I think that's the other missing part from a lot of some of the stuff that I'm making. It's like, all right, where should I go? Should I spend should I spend a bunch of money on ads, or what should I be doing? Like I have no clue. I'm just going to be burning money alive. So like there are people who have gone through this, and I'm just excited to hear your take and kind of you're saving a lot of people so many months and so much money of time, because they're not going to be burning all this money. And so I'm excited to see this. Yeah.
So where I like to think about it is like, okay, we don't want to build a business based on an idea. Like, we build businesses based like to serve markets. We build businesses as solutions to people who are looking for solutions. If you can change that mindset, like, oh, I'm going to build this idea and then I'm going to market it. All you're doing is becoming a person who has a product, and you're going to go knock on a bunch of doors to figure out who wants the product. You need to think about the market of people, or the group of people out there who are really well defined and have the problem that you're trying to solve. And you just need to put yourself underneath that market of people. I know it sounds kind of simple, but it really is. Like, you could spend years building a product, getting it perfect, trying to build every feature you can think of just to launch it into a market that doesn't care. Like, honestly, I see that happen all the time. And that's just because you didn't think about who you want to solve the problem for to begin with. So we need to really think about, like, who is our ICP, or in marketing terms, ideal customer profile. I'm even curious to know how many people out there even know what the term ICP means, because this is a term that you have to live and breathe. Like, your customer profile has to be so well defined that it's almost like scary how much you know about them. For example, I'm working with a founder yesterday who's like, oh, I want to solve a problem for high performers making over 200K a year. And I want it to be anybody who's a high performer. I want to target executive CEOs, software engineers, lawyers, doctors, and I want to help them solve like focus, deep work, and then spirituality. This isn't exactly what it was, but I'm going to protect her idea. Focus, deep work, and spirituality. And then I'm asking her, okay, well, what's your ICP? Like, who's the customer you want to solve for? And she's like, oh, anybody with high performing and has trouble, high performing very consistently. Software engineers, lawyers, doctors. And I'm like, okay, well, if you think about it this way, the market of high performers is probably over, let's say, 200 million people. I'm just spitting that number out here. High performing people, like that's a very, very broad term. Like, who's considered high performing? Well, I looked up yesterday that software engineers are 4.4 million people. You might have lawyers who are, let's say 8 million people. I'm just making this up. Mm-hmm. Then you have doctors, right? Then you probably have accountants and bookkeepers, mm-hmm. right? You're going to have all these different markets of people who could be considered high performing. Well, okay. Like, watch how quickly this escalates. If I were to just get all the markets of people who are high performing and I listed them out in a matrix like this, now we've built out a 200 million person market, but each one of these people are super different in their own way. I hope we all see that. And like software engineers make up this piece of the market of high performers, but they're 4.4 million people. If you go to like say the tangential niches of software engineers, like say data scientists,
Mm.
and say like, I don't know, database devs,
Yeah.
right? I
Machine
hope you see how I'm kind of painting this picture here of
ML
like
bros.
these are markets, and
Wow.
like
True.
this is one big market, and these are like segments of it. Can you guys hear me? I think I'm cutting out.
Yeah, we got you.
Cool. So like if you were to just pick one of these and be very like niche down on this, like, oh, I'm only going to solve a problem for software engineers, so many things become a lot easier. You know how to market to these people because you know where they live. Where do software engineers live? On YouTube, on Reddit, on X, okay? Like on Stack Overflow. But like once you start trying to be like, oh, I want to build an app or I want to build a SaaS that helps everyone. Well, how do you market to a software engineer and then market to a doctor and then market to a lawyer down here who has nothing to do with software engineering? Right? Like that's like the number one thing I want people to take away like right now is like markets are huge in the world. And if we can just get good at, this 4.4 million user market, well, then we can use this as our wedge market and then move to data scientists, then move to database devs, then move to front end. Or say we launch our product for software engineers and it just flats, like it just flops completely and we get no traction. Well, then we can say, okay, time for a pivot. Let's go move down here to, lawyers, and we'll relaunch the product for lawyers. Okay, does that work? Okay, if it gets some traction, we try to scale up the lawyer market. Maybe we find there's another market here for family law, where this market of people has a really unmet problem that they need to solve. Or you find like there's some crazy niche market for like, I don't know, domestic. I'm not going to say that. Let's say like, I don't know, divorce law.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like
bail
divorce law
bonds.
for high net worth individuals.
Oh, there
right?
you go. Boom.
Like that's a crazy niche that probably a lot of people aren't talking about. And then you could be jumping to these markets instead. So it's really important as builders that we focus on one segment of the market first, and then we iterate just like we iterate on software. This was the biggest exercise I think broke her mind yesterday when she was like, wow, you're 100% right. Like I can't market to a software engineer the same way I'd market to a lawyer. Like lawyers and software engineers have completely different, language and lingo, and you want to make sure that you're making your life easy when it comes to marketing toward them. So I think that's like step number one is like really honing in on a niche, and then iterating on your niche and understanding that like it's okay to chisel down your initial market to 4.4 million or even less, because all we need, right guys, is 10,000 people paying us $100 a year, or 10,000 people paying us $200 a year, and now we have a business that could be worth 7 figures.
Let's go.
And it's a lot easier to market toward them if you know exactly who you're talking about.
Man, you broke it down so fast and so simple, but like it just wasn't that obvious to me, to be honest. Like I just thought, man, I think there's not enough people in the world to market my problem. Sometimes I have that fear, or maybe there's too many people. And then you thinking that like, for me, I just like, okay, let me look at successful companies, like all the big SaaSes, all the big funded companies and stuff. And so they have all this money to like basically shotgun all of these different areas. But as a single person builder, which is kind of why I really appreciate your content, is that you're saying that like, you can just start to just get really clear very fast and move into one area. And then just that area is so rich already that you can just kind of expand out just within that. And that already provides enough income for you as an individual, because you're not spending like thousands of dollars to keep an office building going. You're not keeping like 20 employees up, whatever, doing a startup type of thing. It's just kind of shrinking that down. And this is like, I feel like this type of information is just so underserved. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, this is already really, really fire, as far as like a demo. Yeah.
So like once you know who you want to solve a problem for, then I think the next step is not to go build a product. I think the next step is to go research marketing first. Like, let's go find YouTubers who talk about divorce law for high net worth. Let's go find TikTokers who talk about family law. Let's go find, Reddit threads that are super active about, people who are experiencing trouble with divorce when both parties have a company that's worth $10 million and they don't know how to split it up and they have two kids. Like, notice how clear I'm getting with my ICP. Like, husband and wife both have a company worth 10 million or more, having trouble splitting assets. They have a home and kids. Like, that is a very unique set of characteristics that clearly define one specific customer profile. And yeah, it sounds specific to a technical person. You're like, oh my God, there's probably like 10 of those in the world. Like, no, there's probably like a million of those in just the United States. And that set of characteristics I just told you is worth two people who have $10 million businesses. Your software could, or your solution could help them, solve a $10,000 problem.
Wow.
So like, the product it's not just product market fit at that point. It's like product, price, market fit. Like, who's the really clear customer profile you're solving a problem for? Like, what's the outcome that they're looking for, which is obviously like a 6-figure problem that they're having. Your product needs to be priced accordingly to that person as well. Like, I see a lot of people do this wrong too, where they go into $4.99 a month or $9.99 a month, and they get scared to go into that $19.99 a month or even $99.99 a month, level, because they don't understand the power of like price, product, market fit, and the outcome that your product is actually generating for its end user. And I think a lot of people out there building SaaS will actually have a lot easier time uh, building an expensive SaaS than trying to build a cheap one. Like, if you're trying to build a mobile app in like the $4.99 space, I think you're going to have a lot harder of a time than if you go into the $19 a month category or the $100 a year category. And the reason I say this is because after spending, like, I think I even posted a picture here. After spending $631,000 on Meta ads in the last like 18 months on my high ticket business, I've learned a lot about customer and human psychology when it comes to the reasons that people buy and the way that they respond to marketing. The number one thing I'll say nowadays is that people don't value cheap shit. And like, honestly, you don't even want to be building products for broke people and cheap people. I'm sorry to say, like, don't solve problems, in my opinion, and you can get off the stream if you don't like this. Don't solve problems for broke consumers who like are already like strapped for cash. Like, my honest opinion for all of you out there, and I'm positive that if you're following Ray, you're probably pretty sophisticated and smart, like, go solve a prosumer problem. And a prosumer is somebody who is ambitious, motivated, money-minded, and like knowledge forward. Like, solve problems for people who are serious about life. I think a lot of people try to go to consumer apps like, Focus, weight loss, testosterone, like, quit porn, and like everyone's seeing all these kids making a ton of money. I think those kids have a unique advantage in society where they know how to market and trigger people in the consumer world, and they know really, really well how to do that. If you're like me and you're like borderline, millennial, like, look, I struggle with this whole like viral marketing thing. I'm much more like a long form marketer on YouTube. Like, I think we just, and this is just me, I think I just need to accept the fact that I'm not going to be good at viral marketing on TikTok, and I should just go where I'm going to be good. And
Dang.
I think millennials generally like are a little bit more serious. They're ambitious, motivated. They want to make money, and like they're willing to invest in themselves. So like, if I'm building a product right now, and the products I'm building right now are all prosumer products, like, I'm never going to build a consumer product because I've spent a lot of money on ads and I've marketed toward a lot of broke people, and it's the worst type of business to build. There's plenty of rich people in the world, and you just need to be working with rich people. Like, your life's going to be better, your customers are going to be better, your money's going to be bigger, like everything's so much better when you just work with rich people. So if you're building a product right now, ask yourself, like, are my customers broke? Are they making less than 60K a year, and are they just like the average consumer? If you are, then I highly recommend you move up the ladder toward prosumers and business owners. I'll pause to take a sip of coffee, but any
Sheesh,
comments from you,
bro.
Ray?
Sheesh. Shots fired. Blah, 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 blah. There's just so much here. Like, the sauce it's so refreshing to hear. I can't believe this is why I love doing content and finding people like you who are these raw gems online, bringing this forward to us, because I can't tell you how inundated I am with these like consumer level, like simple, like fart apps, right? It's like, okay, cool. Like, I'm just going to take a picture and do this. And then like, maybe I could build that myself as an engineer. I'm smarter than that. I could probably build it faster. And it's like, it's it's kind of funny how you break it down. It's like it's kind of simpler than that, right? It's actually more generalized. It's like find the rich people, and I go through that journey. It's like who are the rich people, but I don't really know them. And so a lot of times, like basically what you just did there, and I call it the masterclass. You spread it out. You said like here are the categories for the people who are in consumer space. So if you're looking at this here, I'm probably just going to move our heads out, kind of take a look. So I know people want to take the screenshots and stuff like that. If you're probably building an app in the consumer space, focus, weight loss, and that type of thing, that's probably you're not going to go as far or as fast as just a quick cash injection from like a prosumer space, right? Like who are actually professionals paying for these products? There's a lot of them, in the millennial space. Like that generation is working right now. They have jobs. They're actually making income, and they're the ones who are like spinning the economy up right now. And the younger generations are coming into that now with Gen Z. But then there's also older generations too, right? Think about like people who are older than that in different phases of life that like just have so much money that they can't even give it away fast enough, right? And then like those are the people you need to start talking to understand what those problems are, whether that their business point of lives or other people who are like making lots and lots of money. And to them, like, tax planners, right? Like these people are just so busy dealing with so much wealth, right? Small business owners, side hustle, e-commerce, right? Stock trading. There's like a lot of skill learning. This is for me a very refreshing thing. So I want to get to some of the comments as well. Some like Aqua Wolf saying, I love the real, raw, and actual real advice. This is definitely really cool. GitMax is also saying that he appreciates the advice because on YouTube, so don't build products for cheap people. That's such a fire line. Yeah, cool. I think people are looking to see where they can connect with you, or maybe they get this document or some type of share or something like that. I know you have a community or something like that. Yeah.
I have a ton of playbooks and like documents like this on my YouTube channel, or I've just recently, as of yesterday, fired up a free school community. So you can jump into the school community, and I've been making content on building apps. I've been spending the last like 2 years trying to crack this. And when I say this, I mean like crack consistently building products. And so I teach a lot about app development. You can join my school community, and in there is a pinned post for my 0 to 1K a day full course. And you have the entire playbook in there. And if you haven't watched that 1 hour video, it's definitely going viral right now. So I'm really excited about it. So definitely watch that. I post at least once or twice a week on app development, because what I do full time now is I run an accelerator where I teach people how to vibe code their own apps, going from idea to revenue. So I have my own accelerator program that I've taken 1,100 entrepreneurs through. But now in 2025, I fired up my venture lab. So I'm working now on 1, 2, 3, 4 products that we're scaling ourselves and with creators. So the accelerator is like one part of my life, and then building and scaling the portfolio is the next. And my goal with the portfolio over the next year and a half is to scale it to 2.5 million ARR. We just hit 1 million ARR across 2 products, and then we have 2 more products launching hopefully by the end of the year into next. And that's going to honestly crush. We're really excited about those products that we're building. So yeah. And then I love to teach. Like I just love talking and making content. So feel free to hit me up on those platforms.
Amazing. This is raw fire. We're just getting started. The first is like, how do you figure out what market to get into, right? Like this is a whole like masterclass, and there's a full video. I actually have it linked in the description right now on the YouTube channel. You'll see in the description, you'll see that video where he basically goes, it's called F it 0 to $1,761 a day, vibe coding AI mobile apps. It's just like 1 hour full course, edited, so you can just walk yourself through it.
And like just to talk about the title for a second, like I really want to be known as the guy who's like super raw. Like I don't want to be one of those guys on YouTube who's like, watch me rebuild Cal AI in 5 minutes and make $1 million a year, like, or $1 million a month, and just vibe code like one crappy feature. Like I want to be extremely raw and see if I can amass, people who really resonate with that. And it sounds like that's what people like. So glad to see it.
I mean, the audience right now, everyone's like blown up right there. It's super fire. I'm with the family business HVAC. I saw field management software, and I think there's big money in the solutions. I mean, right now, I think there's a massive opportunity, and there's like a huge funnel that you can start capitalizing in. It's not going to be sexy, right? It's not going to be that like, 50 million views on X and YouTube and all that stuff. It's not going to be like driving Lambos, but I mean, you can drive Lambos silently in the background with all the money you start making, right?
Well, I don't think the path to making $1 million is that hard. Like it's really just like 200K ARR, and you could definitely find a buyer for 5x, um, or even a partner, a strategic partner who buys half of it. Like to get to 200K ARR, yes, it's going to take time. Might take you 2 years, but like getting to 200K ARR is like is definitely a recipe to it. It's not insurmountable, and it's the fastest way to $1 million cash I've probably ever heard from zero, especially if you have no money,
Wow.
or a small amount of capital. And real quick on the field service management, bro, the boring businesses are going crazy right now. We have one product in our studio for logistics, and someone came to me with like a huge business, and they're like, "Oh, we want to build this logistics platform. There's a lot of money in it." And I was like, bro, I'm not building a logistics platform. Like that sounds so boring. But then he literally flew me into his office. He's like, Alim, I need you to sit behind my like logistics, manager, and just look at how much money he's spending every day on shipping. So I go to the office and I sit there for 8 hours in that day. And this guy literally spent $100,000 right in front of me in one day, just shipping stuff like
Whoa.
on this platform.
Oh
And I
my
was
God.
like, holy shit. I was like, how much money do you think these guys are making? He's like, they're making at least like a 15% margin on just running the platform. So
Ooh.
I'm like, damn, your business alone is making them 15K a day. And he convinced me to build him a logistics platform. And I was like, holy shit, I never thought about like these types of businesses, man. So like
Wow.
plumbers, electricians, HVAC, like boring businesses have a lot of unmet needs. For example, the fencing guy came out to my parents' house the other day and I had to entertain him. And like he was just writing the sketches on his notepad. And I'm like, yo, like, why don't you like have an AI that like takes a picture of the fence and just like does it all for you? Or like, why don't you have like an invoice, generator that's sending me a quote? Why are you
Right.
sending me this old outdated email? Like, why can't I just give you an accept or like a,
Tap to
a
pay right
link in
there.
my,
Let's,
you know what I mean? Like that's an idea right there that you can sell to mom and pop, fencing companies, and you could charge them, $49 a month.
right.
See, it's a rich person game. It's not $4.99 a month. It's $49 a month. You get 100 of those, and now you're making 50, or what is that? 50 or $5,000 a month, 60,000 ARR. The business is worth, 200K at that point or something like that. Anyways, I do think
Bro.
boring
Wow.
businesses is a good idea.
Dang, bro. I think you're just driving it home with these different examples because I need to hear that, right? I need to hear that too. It's like, well, I should just start talking to my community. There's a lot of problems around me. I could just start going outside, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's no longer lockdowns anymore. We're like post pandemic, halfway through 2025. We're already past that hump. We're already halfway past through this decade. This is going to be the greatest lock in period of our generation to make some crazy amounts of money. Holy smokes.
I think
Jesus.
that was an insight that I didn't actually connect, that you just helped me connect. Like, go outside. Like, I think everyone's trying to solve inside problems
Right.
still, but there's problems outside that like need to be solved like now.
Mm, mm. Whoa, man, this is insane. And so we find a rich person problem. And so how do like what are some of the first tools you use to even find like I go outside, I look at this guy like pouring cement or something like that, and he's like, there's a bunch of stuff being built near me because there's just all kinds of stuff going on. Or you're just hanging out maybe at the local coffee shop and all these different guys come in, you start chatting with them or talking to different business owners, right, about their distribution or something like that. And like, yeah, let's just take this fencing guy and kind of go a little bit through what the next step is for you. Like, how do you then?
Yeah. Well, the next step is for sure to start talking to them and solving problems. I had one person come into the community recently, and he was like trying to build a SaaS around like um, service based workers like HVAC and electricians, but he was so dead set on this one idea for like, I'll just say the idea. It's not like super like, I won't say it specifically, but he essentially wanted a way to like have local HVAC, electricians, plumbers find customers. That's all I'm going to say. It was just a way for them to find customers.
Mhm.
And I was like, and he's like, I want to go to these electricians, plumbers, HVAC people and pitch them on an app uh, that helps them find customers. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But look at this. Like, go to those people and don't be so emotional and opinionated about the problem that you want to solve for them. Because if you go to them and you just say stuff like, hey, I want to help you find customers. They're all going to say, yeah, of course, we want customers. Of course, we want customers. That's how we run our business. Go find us customers. Like, you just like pigeonholed yourself into one little problem that like that they have, and they're going to take advantage of you doing the work for them. Okay, so you need to think about how people operate. Instead, how I would have approached it is like, go to these plumbers, electricians, and HVAC people and just talk to them about their business.
Mm.
Like, you don't have a business yet, my friend. You don't need to be so opinionated about a business that doesn't exist. Until you have $1,000 MRR, like, you should not be opinionated and like fixed on the version of the product that you're trying to build right now. Like, you should be a sponge and talking to businesses about their problems that they have. For example, talk to them about, hey, what's business like? How do you, do your operation? How are you managing your employees? How are you sending invoices? How are you dealing with finance? Like, just have open-ended conversations about how they run their business. And then just like genuinely ask, like, what's like the worst part about your business? Or have you even thought about building an app? Because every person nowadays is so sophisticated. The market is so sophisticated. That's another thing we need to talk about,
Mm.
is like, lovable, bold, replicate. Like, my own father, a first generation Indian immigrant, is coming to me saying, yo, like, I can build an app in Lovable. Like, one of my friend's dads, who used to pay me like a lot of money to build apps for him, he literally calls me last week, and he goes, Alim, get on Google Meet right now. And I go, oh my God, like, why? And he's like my best friend's dad, and I give him a lot of respect. So I drop anything to get on a call with him. I get on a call, and this 55-year-old man, no college degree, super boring business oriented. He's got Lovable opened up on the left hand side, and he rebuilt himself an entire app that he would have previously paid me a lot of money for. Why am
Dang.
I saying all this? I'm saying all this because people are super sophisticated. They've already, I bet you 9 out of 10 times, they already have an idea for a way that they want to build an app or a software. Like, just go talk to a business owner, and I bet you they've already had an idea for an app or a software. Like, if you can come across that, like, that's one way to validate a product, because they're going to say, oh my God, like, I hate sending people invoices and over email, and it gets buried in the spam. And like, I wish I just had an easy way to text it to them and they could just one click accept an invoice. My other competitor, I keep losing to them because they have this cool automated system, and me, I just have me and 3 guys, and we're so much better at making fences than them, but we just don't have the tools.
Wow.
Like, that should be like a big flag. Like, oh my God, like, I can build something for you. And I bet you right there on the spot, if you ask them, hey, if I could build you a tool, would you pay me to do it?
Right.
I have a feeling that a business owner making more than 5K a month, and by the way, don't work with businesses making less than 5K a month. That's not a business, that's a freelancing firm. You need to make sure the business is generating at least 5K net profit to be considered like a real business. I think a lot of people try to like go work for like freelancers and consultants that really rely on like one like person to generate the revenue. Like, and you want to find a business that's actually established. But anyways, like, talk to the business owner and figure out what the painful problem is. Don't just be so obsessed over your idea. It's okay to be obsessed over a market, like one of these markets that I've listed here. It's okay to be obsessed over this and want to solve a problem for the market. Just don't be obsessed over the shape of your idea. Like, you're supposed to be a servant to your customers. You're not supposed to be like set on a vision. Yes, you can have like a vision for like where you want the company to go, but like, you need to have a servant leadership style of thinking. Like, how do I serve my customers, and how do I just be a person who's taking in all of these people's problems and then delivering a solution for them?
That's fire. That's absolutely fire. I mean, solid advice on like just getting out there, how to just kind of even pop out of your shell and just start to just ask questions. It doesn't sound nosy. Most people actually like to talk about their business because that's their everyday life. And when you start asking about those pain points, they're just going to start to open up and get super comfortable. No drinks needed. No, I mean, you can hang out over food, but just just casually. And if you're not used to it and it doesn't work, just try another person. Like, there's just so many people out there with so many problems, right? And especially in your areas that you can start to hone the skills, and over time your conversations will get better. So just definitely get out there, just start cooking. Literally, that's crazy. And so kind of going back to your roadmap here, like, now we found the market. now you have a better idea of like what the problem is, like research and validation stuff. Kind of what are we kind of looking at here?
Yeah, I think it's like it's more of like, okay, now that you know the market, now that you know kind of like the person you want to solve a problem for, it's really just about quantifying and getting excited over the market size and the market opportunity. Um, Look, like the cliche way of doing it, if you're trying to build a mobile app, and I say cliche, but like go to app figures, and nowadays there's this tool called screen designs. It's pretty cool. But
Hmm.
like app figures is where I go to find, competitors or apps that are currently live in the app store, and I can spy on their revenue, right? Like I can go look at apps that are in tangential niches, and I can spy on their revenue. So like this one, Woof's puppy and dog training, I can see on screen design they're doing 550K a month. Buddy 45K a month, 65K a month. But like before everybody gets super, excited about 55K, 45K, 65K. I know those are big numbers, but you guys also have to realize that anybody doing these types of figures is running a ton of ads. The margin on mobile apps when you're running ads is pretty low. Like you're going to be lucky to make 30% ish on running ads, meaning you need to spend $100,000 a month to probably profit $30,000. And that's a lot of capital outlay and risk that you need to put on the table to make what's honestly a small amount of money. Like you have to put up 100K to make 30. Like I think all of us can go get jobs and make 10K a lot easier than having to risk that money. But that's not to scare you all away. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that like, yo, when you see these numbers, don't get excited and be like, oh my God, like these apps are, you know, I wonder how much money they're spending on marketing. They're spending a lot on marketing. However, the thing to note is that building software is an enterprise value game. Like yes, when you achieve these revenue levels, you might not be profiting a lot net, but your enterprise value is significantly increasing. Like an app doing 550K a month, that's 6 million a year, they could probably sell for 20 or 30 million. So like, yes, if I think about it that way, like I'm outlaying, X amount of money to make 30% month over month, but my enterprise value is increasing. I think that's where you can justify it. So I
Hmm.
want everyone to know that like, um, to scale up to these numbers, you need to invest capital. It's going to be hard for anyone to scale up to these significant numbers without investing capital into paid ads. So what I do is I go to app figures and screen design and I look for products in other niches that are doing around 100K a month. I like to see 100K a month because that means that the product is scalable via paid ads. Like you can probably get to 65K a month on like SEO and YouTube and viral Twitter and viral X, or excuse me, viral TikTok. You can probably get to 65K a month, but you can't get to like 550K a month on organic, in my opinion. So I look for products that can be scaled up via paid ads because I like paid ads because one, I've invested $630,000 in trying to figure out how to do them, and now that I've spent all that money, I feel like I have a cheat code. Like I can put $1 into Meta ads and I can get a buck 25 out. So I feel like I finally have a cheat code there. Um, and so, yeah, I look for products that can be scaled via ads. Or if you guys are cool with like having a more niche product, like I think it's totally fine to find a product that is doing these lower revenue numbers, but can be a lot more, word of mouth or organic. Like, for example, I don't think banknote identifier will do really well on ads. Like I don't see people just laying in their bed scrolling their phone and then seeing like an ad for like a banknote identifier and being like, "Oh, this is cool. I'm going to pay for this." Like, I think a banknote identifier app is like very niche, like organic SEO, blogs, newsletters, like places where people are like congregated, like exchanging knowledge on banknotes, not just like the average person who's walking on the side of the road, cares about looking at different banknotes. Hope that makes sense. But
Yes.
anyways,
Yeah.
going back to like validation signals, like definitely app figures is a good one, and quantifying the market opportunity, like you definitely want to quantify and make sure it has significant revenue potential. But then there's like alternative validation signals as well. Like one that I really like is scan bad reviews for unmet needs. Like if you're looking at other mobile apps, especially, like the reviews are a gold mine on mobile apps because I don't know why, but people are just so like Twitter fingers on mobile app reviews. Like, and I think it's for good reason. You have to think about it in terms of intent. Like, there's a lot of marketing in this session today, but like, intent is a marketing concept that refers to how much, like, how badly a user wants to, use your product or service. like there's intent levels. And I think leaving a bad review is like the highest intent level that you can possibly generate, because that means that somebody really wanted to use your product. They really wanted that problem solved. They trusted you to deliver on it. You didn't deliver, and they literally went an extra mile to write you a bad review, leave a 1 star, put their email in, blah 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 blah, like all the extra shit that you have to do to leave a review. Like that's the highest level of intent. I think that's even higher intent than somebody paying you money.
That's
So
crazy.
sometimes what I coach my entrepreneurs on is like, yo, I want you to actually try to generate bad reviews when you first get started.
Hmm.
Like intentionally, like don't put a bug in your product, but like intentionally like set up your product in a way where like people can go through it in a funnel. It solves the problem or attempts to solve the problem and then maybe ask for a review.
Hmm.
Like you want to farm those bad reviews in the beginning. Because look, we can take 5 bad reviews. All you need is 50 good reviews after that, or even let's say 10 good reviews after that, and you can get your star rating back up. You can also get some of those people to change their reviews.
Ooh.
I know I'm not making a really like a fantastic case about bad reviews, but I want you to just understand like uh, if you can get people to leave bad reviews, those are people who really want that problem solved, and they're going to give you really good feedback. They're going to be extremely critical about what needs to be fixed in your product. And so, not just for your product, but other people's product too. Other people who see bad reviews, they might give up. They might, just abandon the product, or they might not even address it. So that's an opportunity for you to go look at tangential niches and find opportunities in bad reviews. Um,
Wait, I
Another
just want
value.
to like kind of
Go
reflect a
ahead.
little bit on that, because that's some sauce that very few people talk about. And for those who are just kind of joining in the stream now, we're getting into a lot of these details. I know typically you're watching me build apps with code and so forth, but we're trying to break out of this barrier. We're trying to get out of this like negative $400 a month, spending all this money on AI apps to generate code and to actually start making money with people. And like the sauce that I got just from this negative review thing, like to not get discouraged, is super helpful, and it's extremely insightful from a guy who's already making over 50K a month on these on mobile apps and just apps in general for the stuff that's being published. Because so you're saying that when people are paying money, that's their highest intent. They want this problem solved. It's a burning need. They're exchanging their hard-earned money to give to you so that they can use your app. And the second, maybe even other higher intent signal, is the bad review, to take all this extra effort and energy they're trying to vent out. And so they put it somewhere, and they put it in a mobile review for a store, your app, their apps, a competitor's app. And then you can capture that value, fix your features, or iterate closer to where the user actually wants their intentions to be met, so they can continue to give you more money. Because once things are flowing good, they're not going to say anything. They'll be like, thanks, I already make my money from here. I'm a busy person. But just the bad review has a lot of value. Dang, that's fast. That's so wild.
Absolutely. Like here's an example bad review that I got for my app closer coach. Like long review. Like pretty much what he said is also not a huge fan of the 5 minute timer, and you only have pre-made bots that you can practice selling against. For example, I sell insurance, blah blah blah. It would be much better if you could somehow create your own conversational bot, and the user gives you a scenario to follow. That way you could practice selling whatever you want. If you could somehow create one of these, I would happily pay more for it than the $50 a year this app asks for. But the pre-made ones, I'm not sure if $50 is worth it. So guess what we did?
Ooh,
We literally uh, ASAP jumped on building a feature where people could create their own challenge. Where
wow.
like, bro, if we saw somebody say, "Holy crap, I'm willing to pay more," like product developer, we got to go hard. Like that's like the first thing we jumped on was like building out the whole create challenge flow for this app. We actually ended up improving it a lot more, and I think it actually looks like way better. This is our new like create challenge flow that's launching here soon.
Beautiful.
Um, it's going to be badass. But anyways, uh, yeah, like this completely informed like where we needed to go. I didn't have to think at all about where I needed to go. Now we just got 3 weeks of feature development work to do. Um, there's a couple other things here, but like really another thing is just like talking to your customers and like building a community. Like we we trying to think about where to go from here. Like we for one of our other apps, Scam Profit, like we partnered with another creator who's got a huge community and like built a product for his community. And now we do like once a month, like live sessions with his community to figure out what feedback we have for the product. I
Mm,
also want to say that like when we first were launching my first company, Season Share, the B2B SaaS,
hmm.
like we were doing webinars live with like 12 different VPs of ticketing from
Wow.
like all these different sports teams. And FOMO is real and like people want to buy what other people are interested in buying. So if you can assemble like a group of people like this potentially, like, or a group of people who meet with you every week or meet with you every other week, like, and you just kind of soft sell your product or you build some community where you ask these people questions and you try to solve their problems, like over time, you're going to see that effect compound and then you're going to start to create that product market fit just kind of naturally. So I
Mm,
do think like building community is really important, especially in today's age. If you're not making content, like that's okay. Like, but I think like building a community is going to be way better than like trying to like build users or like get users for an app because like community will be with you long term. Like users for an app will churn and burn. So like try to prioritize like building a community and then the product I think comes next. I think like launch wait lists and sign up pages are useless and a waste of time and they signal nothing. I got an email yesterday or a message yesterday from somebody in my community that said like, oh, you know, we got like 50 people to sign up. I'm like, okay, go try to reach out to 50 of those people. Tell me how many of them like actually respond to you. I've never seen somebody be successful with a wait list unless you're talking like hundreds of thousands of people in your wait list. But I don't think this signals any sort of of validation. Um, I think like true business traction, like seeing other companies raise capital, seeing other companies sell, seeing YC fund a company, seeing bad
mm,
reviews, like seeing people on YouTube talk about a problem, see people talk on TikTok about a problem, like that's true validation. Like that's true signal from the market saying that like there's a need there. Um, but that's pretty much what I got for like validation signals. I think validation signals are really just like how how many people can you like generate some interest from, whether that's from a community or you know, signals from the market.
yeah, I kind of want to like take a break here and maybe just kind of say maybe this is part one of our entire live stream series because I don't know how much people realize how important it is those just that first step of market. Like what's the market and then like what's the product you're going to get into because like we hadn't even just talked we're at this early stage where you know before we even start wasting tokens and start spending a bunch of money it's like find the rich people problems like going back to that big grid showing us like you know where you know of all these different people you can do for high performance people like it's just not everyone. It's not a lawyer, it's not a doctor, it's not a software engineer, it's not the Steph Currys of the world. Like where do you really want to lock in and dial that deeper, right? Because that actual market's actually probably deeper and bigger than you think. And then, you know, when you're going to the market to find even rich people problems, you know, as a business, if you're thinking about revenue, they got to get 5K profit a month at least, you know, to consider themselves a business, like a serious business. And then you can just start talking with them. So just literally going outside, talking to people, seeing the problems, seeing what's happening in your community. You can start serving them just by asking them. And like you're saying, Alim was talking earlier in the stream about just going to sit down with one of his, you know, boring businesses, one of his buddies or one of his clients and saying like, yeah, these guys just spent 100K on just like shipping and logistics. And you're like, that we could take a piece of that pie easy, right? You could be a person who's in the middle of that. You can provide the better experience. And it's just like the opportunity space just continues to explode. And there's not enough of us like who build products that can want to step into those space and take it further. And so this is your battle cry because both of us used to work for some corporations and like why go back and like increase their revenue and we only get like a really small piece of that pie where we can actually do that ourselves and start inserting ourselves into these like serious businesses and either exit or have some like nice revenue streams. Like you could be the Warren Buffett where you have a lot of these really nice small businesses that start contributing value to you. And over time, it compounds,
Absolutely.
right? So like you just got to get that skill first, build the skills, figure out what these things are. And like Alim, you're like basically on autopilot now, right? Because you've been doing this so often. You're just like, bro, I just like spit it out like it's water, bro. It's like
Well, I would say that we've cracked like figuring out like how to build product that people need, and I think that's not um, incredibly hard to crack. Um, hope he's still here. I think
yeah,
he
I'm
just
still here. My bad.
dropped off.
I'm like doing the different thing.
I just get left alone.
No, no, no,
Um,
no.
I won't drive the whole audience to myself. That's crazy. No, but like I think we've cracked like how to build product that people need, and I honestly don't think that's like incredibly hard once you kind of adapt your mindset to like market then product. Like that's all business is like find a market and then build a product. Don't come up with an app idea. You're making it way too hard on yourself. Like solve a problem for a market. I think we all know how to build, so I'm going to kind of pass over build. If I were to leave, with anything, I don't know how much more time we have, but like the two real things that really matter, like after you product or after you kind of uh, find a product and you have a little bit of traction, is like these two things right here. This is what turns builders into like business people. Like, and I
Mm,
think this is where most technical entrepreneurs fail, is like they try to sell the feature. They are really good at building the feature, but they have no idea how to drive traffic and convert traffic into paying customers. And so I run a growth program inside my accelerator too, where I teach people how to like take the product that they built and actually turn it into like a real revenue machine. And the two things that it always comes down to is like assembling a funnel.
mm.
I know some of us may have heard of this term funnel, but like I've kind of broken it down and honestly cracked it. You also said another thing that I want to talk about. Building an app at scale is definitely not easy. It's not just like you see a bunch of users and revenue coming in. Like me and my product, I just hired product manager Zion, like ex DoorDash, like killer kid. And we are fighting churn like we have fire extinguishers out right now. And like we're making hypotheses, sending push notifications, like testing different prices, updating features in the app, running group calls for the user base, sending emails. Like
Wow.
yes, when you get to like this significant, level of like 50 to 80K, like we were rising super fast. And then now we just kind of like hit a brick wall. We thought we were just
Mm,
going to keep growing, but we've definitely plateaued because like churn is outpacing growth.
wow.
So like, as much as I would say like, yes, it's like autopilot, it's not too, because if we didn't action on like what's happening, then it would quickly cascade an avalanche into, slow death.
Yeah,
So yeah, like
let's
building.
get into it. I'd love to kind of get into this a little bit more. Yeah, we still got some time. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Let us
mean,
know in the chat. I mean, are you guys vibing with this right now in the chat? I mean, I feel like people are just like kind of stunned right now. I'm stunned, just about how much knowledge you've dropped the first hour already, bro. Like this is masterclass first hour. I mean, we're scratching the surface and there's a
I
lot.
mean, I'll,
Yeah, that he's
I'll show
offering.
you guys.
Yeah.
I'll show you guys something crazy. Like, um, I'll show you guys something absolutely wild. So yeah, like pricing, right? Like I'm gonna change my screen. Can I do that? Can
Yeah.
I change
Yeah.
my screen?
Oh yeah. You can change your screen. I can, I'll hop out here and then you can just change the screen share and then it'll just pop back in and I'll put it in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
Here we go.
we had this real big issue where we were like, oh shit, like people are churning like crazy for one of our apps. We did a live stream or a group call with one of our with the community who's behind this app, and everyone was like, "Yo, the price is too high." And
Hmm.
we quickly noticed that the number one reason people were churning was because price was too high. So we have a cancellation flow in the app. We actually make it really easy to cancel because we want to generate data. So we control the cancel flow and we let people tell us why they're canceling. We have like a multi-select option and it could say like too expensive, found better product, blah, blah, blah. So we found out that like the number one reason people were canceling their subscription was because price was too high. So we did something nuts and we were like, let's price our app a lot cheaper and let's match the nearest competitor. We knew that we were higher than all of our competitors. So on August 19th, I chopped the price in half of the product. And this was a ballsy decision to make because that cuts our LTV or like upfront revenue in half and potentially even, long-term LTV. But look what happened. Like we chopped the price in half and we had a record conversion rate. We went from, you know, 31% to 38% converting on the front end to over almost 50% of people converting on the front end. And like, it's only been a week we've been running this experiment and we do drop like this because the the marketing goes up and down. But like we converted almost 25% more people, and we're churning 30% less more people now.
Interesting.
So if you think about what just happened, we net increased our LTV. Like, so we net increased like how much money we're making over time, even though it looks like less money up front. The reduction in churn and the increase in new customers nets out to like more LTV. But we couldn't make that decision without a bunch of financial modeling. Like we have a whole financial modeling team, like Taylor and Zion, who have experience doing like price sensitivity analysis and stuff. But like we have a ton of like Google Sheets that like we're running analysis on, like, hey, what would happen if conversion rate went up and churn went down? Like what would be our net impact on LTV? Like, yes, short-term revenue would go down, but like long-term, retention would be higher. We obviously want more users in the app. Like we don't want to just get greedy about cash if it means nobody's going to stay. Because at the end of the day, like if we want to sell our SaaS for tens of millions of dollars later.
Yeah. Oops. I think it looks like he just got cut off because I think he was trying to get back. Let me get him on the stream here.
I clicked hang up and not share screen.
No, it's all good. Yeah, because when that's but it's easy to get back in. So yeah.
Yeah, so I was saying, like, if we want to sell our business for tens of millions of dollars later, like the number one thing an acquirer is going to ask is like, what's your churn like? And if we say, hey, we're churning 50% of our users, they're going to be like, hey, well, we don't want an app that if we stay hands off for a month, the app has lost 50% of its customers, and by month 3, it's lost most of its customers. So,
wow, yeah, because I think some people were asking here, like, do people always say the price is high? Maybe is that one thing that you think they say, or have you seen in your experience they say different things?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on. Price depends on a lot of things. Like, is it a rich person problem? Number one, and then also like the marketing. Like, how much trust is being built in the marketing funnel? We talked about this as well yesterday in my growth call. But like, if someone clicks on an ad and then they go to an app and then they get hit with a $50 paywall per month, the chances of them converting like within 5 minutes is very slim. You're going to have to retarget them, send them push notifications, send them emails. But if they come from a long form YouTube video or they come from an influencer who's already built the trust with the audience, the chances of them actually converting is much higher because the trust is built up. So people convert just because this app that we've scaled is an influencer partnership strategy where we take equity in products that we scale via influencers. So the influencer is responsible for running the marketing, and we're responsible for growing, retaining, and building product. It's a hard model to do because like I have a lot of experience like running the actual operation of a software company, like not just like, oh, build an app and launch it. Like obviously I have a ton of experience like doing these financial models, doing the retention calculation, running the data. And I think that's like what separates like a novice software entrepreneur from like one that can kind of pull it off, which is me trying to pull it off. Anyways, that really matters, like how much the trust is built up. And pricing, I think like people who want their problem solved like are going to be willing to pay any amount of price, but like you don't want to price too low in that like you aren't making enough money and it's just not like moving the needle for you. But you don't want to price so high that like you're turning away customers. The last thing I'll say on pricing is like people also don't value cheap shit. Like if you have an app that's like priced at $3.99 a month or like some weird number like $6.99 a month, like no one's gonna pay for that. Like I don't know about you, but like if I look at a mattress or if I look at like a desk and I see the price of like a mattress is like $200, I'm gonna be like, yo, that's a shitty mattress.
Right?
Like I'm not buying that mattress.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Like if I'm
Totally.
looking at
people
product,
like compare what the market.
price,
Yeah. If the price for beds are like, $1,000 to $10,000 and yours is $299, you're just like, is it going to fall apart? Like just sleep once type of thing. Like why is it so cheap? I don't get it. It's not. Yeah. It's not free.
I've actually tested price on other things too, like my accelerator program. I've ran my exact accelerator program at $1,000 and I've gotten more refunds, more complaints, and we don't charge $1,000 anymore. It's more expensive than that. But my point is like the cheaper the product, like the more actually expectation somebody has for some reason, and the more likely they are to churn and just not have the right expectation. So with Closer Coach, we actually tested $19.99 a month versus $9.99 a month, and we actually converted higher because we found that the market of people who are like salespeople
Right.
aren't like rich, but they like to think they're rich. And so they
Hmm.
make decisions like they're rich. And so
I
rich people
see.
aren't going to pay for cheap stuff. We're going to pay for, I say I'm
Yeah.
still working on it, but like they are going to pay for things that are aligned with like their quality standards.
Got it. So are there, it sounds like, to kind of wrap a lot of the concepts up from the very beginning, it's like, okay, finding the market, so like, let's just say I find these lawyers, right? They're willing to pay a lot of money. Maybe they don't have a lot of time or something like that. And then you either build trust or try to get them in. Does like a free trial make sense? Or just because their market's just so crazy, like with these lawyers, they have more time than money, or they have more money than time. It just doesn't sound like a free trial makes sense to give them, because they're gonna be like, well, I don't have time to check this out because I have a lot of other free stuff to check out too, or something. And if you're speaking to a pain point to solve their like niche problem in an office, that's going to save them maybe 150K to 200K a year or something like that. Like, how do you go about like understanding what you should be like? Because I mean, that's the question I have sometimes. Like, is it better just to get a bunch of people and let them in on a free trial? Do they stick as much, or like, how do you think about that? Or or how do you like develop the understanding that, or where can you kind of find these resources? Oh,
Yeah,
I don't think
I
there's a
actually did
screen. If you share the screen, I can probably show if you have any resources pulled up. But yeah, if not,
no, I am.
okay,
I'm about to.
okay,
I'm actually pulling up something here.
cool.
I actually just did a whole lesson on like free trials.
Oh,
Free trials are cool, but they come with some science. Can you see my screen?
I
Yeah.
can see it now. Yeah,
Okay. So, in my growth program, we recently did a free trial lesson, and so here's what how I like to think about free trials. Like, I think everyone should have free trials when they're first starting off. Absolutely. It just depends on like how much it costs you to service your free trial. Free trials have 3 times higher conversion rates.
mm,
I can even prove that to you here
wow.
in my real app. I like to back everything.
Mm,
Uh, so okay, so to okay, so right here on August 13th, we ran a test where we killed our free trial. We offered no free trial on one of our apps. We went $19.99 a month or $49 a year, no trial.
wow.
Look at where this line is headed.
Oof.
And then actually, yesterday was let me add this reactivated free trial. So we actually reactivated the free trial yesterday. But look
Wow.
where this line went when we
Sheesh.
killed our free trial, right?
Jesus.
Our conversion rate dropped. And then look how nice and beautiful it was when we had free trial. Like we were converting around 22% of downloads into free trials. And that's a really strong rate. But our goal was like, I wonder if we can get money up front. And so we took off the free trial and conversion rates tanked to like 6%. So yes, there's like you can get 3 times more people to opt into a free trial than you can if you didn't have one. So I do highly recommend everybody do a free trial. However, you need to consider like the impact on your funnel. And we didn't talk about funnel or financial models yet, but like free trial has 3 times higher conversion rates, but it comes with a new hole in your funnel being without a free trial, your funnel is download, sign up to paid. And our goal is to convert as many downloads into signups and as many signups into paid. I uh, have this whole lesson here as well on like all your different funnel metrics and like how you should be like working on or how you should be thinking about the percentage of people that you get to do certain things. For example, like um, your download to paywall view rate. Like this is the percentage of people who see your paywall after downloading. You want this number to be as high as possible. Think of it as you're trying to make an offer to everybody who walks into your store.
Mm,
Where I was going actually though was the new leaky bucket, where we're going to get a lot of people to start a trial, but then you need to monitor your trial to paid conversion rate, which is the percentage of people who start a trial but then convert into a paying customer. Your target here should be 30 to 40%. And this is an example of a mixed panel report that I have set up. 95 people start a trial, 23 people convert into a trial. That's a 24% trial to paid conversion rate. That's not bad. Like 1 in 4 people are converting, but it's also not like fantastic. Like fantastic would be like 50%,
mm,
and like average is like 33, like not average, but like strong and like where you should be is like 33%. Like you need to be converting 1 in 3 free trials into paying customers. If you can do that, then you have a very scalable product, but that's not going to happen over time. Like I'll even show you, an example of one of my apps where we were trying to crack this. If I just look at Closer Coach's trial to paid conversion rate, like watch how I had to improve it over time. Like in May, I had 20 trials and 3 converted, and I bet you one of them was me. So like 10% conversion rate here, 22% conversion rate in June, almost 30% in July, and in August we didn't focus on trial to paid conversion rate. We had spent half of August trying to see if we could crack the direct subscription. So we didn't focus on this, but going forward in the rest of August and in September, we're going to focus back on trial to paid because that's like what our data is telling us to focus on.
Yeah.
And our goal is going to be to beat this 29%. So we're going to try to get it to that 35% level. So yeah, like I hope that wraps that up. Like trials are 100% super important, but like putting and another thing that it does is that it puts the pressure on you as the founder to make your product better. Because if you get a bunch of people starting a trial, that means your marketing and your funnel is working and that you've solved a problem or like you found a market of people who want the solution.
Yeah.
But if you're not converting, it just means your product isn't quite good enough yet. And you're probably only 1 or 2 small breakthroughs away from cracking that. A lot of people get nervous and they're like, oh, like I need to add so much to my product. But if people are starting a trial, that means they already believe in what you have. They just need like one core feature to stick. And finding that core feature will take you some time, but it's the one thing that will turn your business into a money printing machine once you figured it out.
Okay. And like, when does like the influencers come into the mix? Is that when you actually get people sticking at a higher rate? Because then it sounds like you'll get a better return on your investment, right? If people are actually coming through your funnel and it's like that 33% at least, right? Because if you just throw more influencers and people at it, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get better quality, right? Of people sticking around.
Yeah. So I think it depends on like how you think about influencers. Like I know all these kids on TikTok and shit are talking about like, oh, go pay a bunch of influencers and get them to promote your product.
Make 30 TikTok accounts in these. Yeah. AI slop stuff. Yes.
Like that's crazy. Like, okay, look, I don't have time for all that, and I'm not going to do all that. I think there's an easier way to work with influencers. Like, you find influencers like you, like me, like people who are already on YouTube in between 10K and 30K subs. Like, we are hungry to make money. Like we're reachable. You can email people with 10K to 30K subs and they're going to respond to you. I don't know about you, but I definitely have a manageable email box and I can look through mine. I get requests all the time and I'm sure you do as well. But like people like us are looking for cool partners to build stuff with. I think finding like micro influencers is like your number one hack. Like we get good reach and we get very niche reach. You don't want to go for an influencer who's got like 1 million and 2 million and hundreds of thousands of followers. Like their reach is going to be very sparse and like broad. In the early days, you want to find like 1 or 2 people who you can work with who have very niche audiences. For example, like find a YouTuber or somebody who makes content on like scaling HVAC companies. And I bet you a quick search on YouTube would find you that. And then go reach out to those creators who have 10K, 20K, even 5K subs, because those 5K subs are all people who run HVAC businesses, and HVAC businesses have good money flowing through. It's not 10K subs of people who are trying to make money trading and they're borderline gamblers. You know what I mean? Like it's about finding people who have like high intent and like who like fit your product need. So yeah, like that's my number one thing for people. Like find small creators because they're reachable. And then the hack or the model that I'm running, which isn't very beginner friendly, but if you can pull it off, I think you'll do really well. But it's like influencer partnerships where like you build the product and you partner with an influencer. So like you accept the fact that you're a good builder and you're not a good marketer. And that's what I've done in our venture lab. Like we wanted to build and scale all of our own products, but we were like, we're really good at building and operating. People are way better than us at marketing and getting reach. Like, let's just accept that fact and let's see if we can partner with influencers who want to build SaaS. So I took on one of these deals in January. And then immediately after, God gave me another one. And then immediately after, I got a third one.
Dang.
And then we're about to sign one with another major career influencer who's got like 1 million plus followers, and she's crushing it. But like, my point is that the model works. And another reason it works is that these influencers we're working with, they've already had ideas for products. They've already wanted to get into SaaS, because no influencer wants to, nowadays they're nervous about selling courses. They don't want to sell like Amazon links and like affiliates. They want something that's like truly like equity. And like there's no better equity than building a recurring software product. So like influencers have already come up with ideas probably. They've already probably got ripped off by somebody on Upwork or on Fiverr. I'm not sure how many of us have resonated with that story, but like I just got ripped off again. Like somebody took $1,000 and then ghosted me and didn't give me the code. I've been in situations where I've hired developers in like the Ukraine. And look, I'm not generalizing and saying they're all this way, but I've just had really crappy experiences where people don't give me the code that I want, or the quality is really poor, or the communication is very poor, and they're just billing you for the hours that they put in. They don't really care about the success of your business. So that's why like I really steer people away from going to Upwork, and instead like focus on learning how to build yourself with vibe code, with AI, with low code. And then once you understand how to build, the back end, the front end, you can then start hiring out small developers to do small tasks for you. Anyways, so people have probably already like been through all that if you're an influencer and you've tried to build a SaaS. But my advice is to take equity in the project and then like offer to build the product in exchange for them marketing it. It will take time for you to like find these deals, but I'm telling you, it's worth it, because once an influencer starts posting, you're going to get a ton of reach, and you get to focus on what you like to do, which is build. And then the influencer is going to be seeing money come in. They're going to be seeing the metrics come in, and yeah, you guys will both make money.
That's facts. That's the era we're in. And it kind of goes back to a little bit what you're saying earlier. We were talking about community, right? So part of building a community could be you actually reaching out to an influencer that has a community, and then you're kind of going into that community in essence, right? Or you're building the community together. It's like, all of this kind of stems around like, get out of your house, right?
Absolutely.
Wow. Dude, there's just so much sauce that's just been dropped into this whole live stream. And like, we're like barely covering some of the stuff going on a speed run. Where can people kind of like sign up for this thing? And it sounds like you have a school community link that's going to be available, and I'll probably drop that in the description as well. Yeah.
Or if you want to hit this QR, we'll make sure to leave a link below. I do have a free community where I'm just kind of building a base for Ambitious Labs, which is our accelerator. What we do is we teach people how to go from idea to first revenue, and then we go from first revenue and beyond. So we have one program called Build, one program called Grow. Our Build program will literally pair you up one-on-one with a technical vibe code coach, and they'll work with you all the way until you launch. A lot of the people who come to me are people who have never coded before. I'm not sure if that's everyone here, but like most people who come to Ambitious Labs have never coded before, but they want to build their own mobile app or SaaS. So we pair them up with a coach. They get access to me. We do group calls and sessions every week, and we coach everybody through launching. And then the Grow program is after you launch, if your app is live in the store, I'll then work with you one-on-one as like your actual dedicated mentor, and I'll take you through my entire playbook for growing. The school community right here is free, and this is a way that you can learn more about what Ambitious Labs does. We're actually based in Atlanta, Georgia. I have an office at Atlanta Tech Village, which is a really cool accelerator in Buckhead. And so if anybody ever wants to come out, if you're based in Atlanta, you can hit me up and we do events and stuff there. But my mission right now is teach as many people how to build apps as possible, and then take everything that I'm learning in my studio, the Venture Lab, where we have these products that are growing and scaling, and I'm just literally feeding it right back to everybody. So it's as if they're right over my shoulder as I am scaling these apps. And our goal, we've already cracked the 1 million ARR goal for this year. I didn't expect it to happen that fast, but next year we're trying to go for 2.5 to 3.
Let's go.
And so excited about that, and excited to see what other products we can help people build. Another one quick thing is that we do invest in products too. Like we just put an offer out to invest in I'm not going to say the idea, but it's an ed tech app for a really exciting ed tech niche. And we just put an offer to invest like the first $10,000 of ad spend. So like after people go through like Ambitious Labs programs, like we are wanting to find founders to partner with and grow with. So excited to see how that goes.
That's super excellent. I mean, Alim has just been a wealth of resource and knowledge here. The passion, the experience, I mean, all that stuff just delivering nonstop for this stream. And I'm so delighted that the YouTube algo actually kind of delivered me your video, because that's actually kind of how I found out about this. It's like, yeah,
Nice.
I need to go into this next phase. There's a lot of people who follow my live streams too. They are designers. They are like other like builders and stuff, and they've been trying to code with these types of tools to try to get their ideas out. But a lot of times it's like, yeah, it starts really far back. It's like, what's the problem you're going to solve? Who are you going to solve it for? You know, what's the actual rich people problem? How do you go through those steps in like a little bit more details? And so, yeah, I'm curious. I'm going to check out your school community as well, because, you know, I want to kind of go through some of those exercises that I need to do myself. And low key, I might just live stream my way into like, you know, 50K, because that's kind of what I do. I want to build these things, but actually be real and go out to real people and film myself live, you know, talking to people with real problems, because I mean, I'm not working for a corporation anymore. I got to actually build the business and get it up and running, you know, get the income coming in and stuff like that, so that
Absolutely.
they can serve that. Wow. Super duper fire, man. So where else can people find you besides the school community here? I think it's on X as well. You're also on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube is super ideal. YouTube's been where I'm primarily kind of listening and responding to people. You can definitely add me on LinkedIn or on X, but I'll paste a link to YouTube. Like, that's definitely a good place.
Okay.
Just give me a moment while I put a little QR on the screen.
Oh, I see. Yeah. He's cooking. He's cooking live, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, any questions y'all have, drop them below. I know somebody says that like when he signs influencers, what are the standard contracts for the micro influencers? And like what metrics for the influencers and can validate the views are legit? I think at this point, yeah.
On that real quick, like an influencer who has built a course or like has successfully monetized something, I think is key. Like, you need to find an influencer who has successfully made money, at least a couple of dollars. Like, don't find an influencer who, well, this could work, but like if you find an influencer who's just making a bunch of free content and they've amassed a big audience of like free content, you want to make sure the content is like either educational or like knowledge or like outcome driven. You don't want just someone who's talking about, like, for example, I ran a campaign a long time ago with the guy who just films himself playing NBA 2K. That's all he does, and he got 1 million subscribers filming doing NBA 2K. And when I was first building my app accelerator like 2 years ago, I partnered with him because I know him from the Atlanta network, and he did a quick shout out. He's like, "Oh, bro, like if you want to build an app, like go to Ambitious Labs." We got a storm of traffic, but like nobody signed up because it's just a bunch of people playing NBA 2K. And he was making his money from YouTube AdSense. Like, he's never actually sold something off of the program or off the off
his channel and stuff. Yeah.
off his channel. You know what I mean? So like, find somebody who's actually successfully monetized, because that means that the audience has some buyer intent.
That's a really, really great point. It's like just the little ideas of how these people are actually performing for their ideas. Damn, that's awesome. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
And that second link there is basically, I think, is that your YouTube channel or something?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was in the middle of that.
YouTube I totally interrupted you. I kind of have the ADHD thing going on, man. So far,
you're telling me,
man. This is a crazy time to be alive, and I think we're very lucky and fortunate to kind of be able to connect and share these types of things and do this live. Because I don't know about you, there's a lot of other people also like online here with us in the stream. Like, this is like their side hustle thing. You know, they're trying to turn their like ideas on the weekends into something, and just they're showing up on Fridays, you know, with us live, right? You know, you should be like, you're technically in a meeting right now. You're in a meeting with us to improve your life, to get yourself to that next level. So you can just say goodbye job, hello, you know, solving a really great problem for someone that's going to net me this recurring income and just improve my life overall, so that I can do more things. I have more freedom to do whatever with my family or do other things like that. I mean, you know, I think, I mean, just kind of closing it out a little bit, I want to hear a little bit more about the human side, because, you know, I know that like I myself, I have burnt out just working super hard and crazy and giving my all to a corporation, right? And then they just say like, hey, you're sick. I'm so sorry you're sick. Let us know when you're feeling better. Goodbye. I'm like, bro, like I gave my whole like life to you. I saved you $500 million or more. And it's like, like that. Thanks. So I feel like going through that and then now kind of going to like the builder, like I'm in this builder era where I can use these AI tools to improve my life. How are you kind of like thinking about this in terms of what you're doing right now? Do you have a balance, or are you just pretty much all locked in right now in this building phase until stuff kind of goes off, or kind of where are you seeing yourself as like a human in this whole thing with your entrepreneurial race? Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's been a tough journey. I thought it was going to be a lot easier. But honestly, like it's changed me for the better. Like I value money a lot more. I value the world a lot more. Like, but it has been very hard on like my relationships with like my family, my fiance, like all the stuff that comes with life and friends. Um, so I think it's really important to like pace yourself and understand like work is going to be here tomorrow too. But like it's very important to be consistent and like not change your focus. Like I would prefer that you do things in like monthly sprints. Like hey, like this month I'm going to do this. I'm going to focus on this. This is going to be my traction goal. If I don't achieve this traction, then I move forward to the next. Um, but like having that focus is really important. And um, as far as like generating income and stuff, I would definitely put a timeline to it. I wouldn't like just be so emotional that like you're never going to go back to work. There's nothing wrong with like having a job and like using it as a tool to sustain yourself while you find opportunities. I also think that there are ways to de-risk yourself if you're trying to build a SaaS product. Like most SaaSes aren't going to get to 10K MRR that quickly. It's going to take time. And like we may not all have a year worth of runway, and we might have families and obligations and debt and cars and lifestyle expenses. So like it's okay to have a job, or I think it's okay to be in like this hybrid freelancer and then founder mode, like where you're learning how to build apps at the same time you're doing services for people. Like maybe you build apps for other people, maybe you contract and find a company to work for part time. Maybe you even do something like catering or like a high paying like in person job. Because honestly, as a founder full time, sitting behind the computer is a blessing and a curse. I hate it sometimes because I never leave the house, but I love it because I have location independence and financial, or not financial freedom, but like location freedom.
Yeah.
And like I think it's okay to like get off the computer and like do hands-on work and try to like sustain yourself and like make sure that you have like that side of your mind um engaged. For example, we travel a lot. I go out and hang out with friends. Like not everything happens behind the computer. Like stuff happens out there in the world. So like make sure that you're actively engaged, and honestly like don't sacrifice your income too much. Like make sure that you have some money coming in, because this stuff will take time. What really matters is your consistency. Um, and I just don't want to see anybody like take out debt and like max out credit cards. Like there's a time and place you can do that. For example, there was a bridge time in Ambitious Labs where I needed to take a credit card out and like get through a tough period of time. There's going to be times where you see exciting moments. For example, on Closer Coach right now, like we just cracked like 1x ROAS, and I don't have enough cash in the bank to like scale the shit out of it. So we're going to max out a credit card and make sure the math works out and go from there. There's going to be times and places to take bets, but I wouldn't take the bet too early. Like find that validation before you like take the big bet.
Man, super solid advice. Amazing, amazing stuff. I love this is the content I want on YouTube. Just like this type of real rawness. And I'm so glad I found you. I'm so glad we were able to come on, take some time to join us in the live stream and kind of participate with the audience, because I think this is also going to be available as a video on demand. So you're going to go back. I'm going to have the chapters and the timestamps kind of laid out so y'all can kind of go through this. And we're going to skip that earlier part where we had some weirdly, some echoey type of stuff, and tons and tons of value in here. I mean, going back from the ideas, products, going through the whole life cycle of like, where are you in this journey? If you're identifying yourself as a builder, how do you then actually validate your idea? What does that look like? We talked a lot about all these different concepts. And how do you kind of think about this going forward? And Alim has a great community of folks here that you want to go ahead and check out. Those links right there, you can scan with the QR codes for the YouTube channel, or join the free school community that he has going on there. It's probably a lot of other people who are like-minded just like this. And so, yeah, Alim, thank you so much for joining the show. And I hope we get you on for another part 2. Maybe we can go to some further details, and drop the comments below. And that's going to be helpful for us to get signal to respond back and actually make the next set of content for you guys to make it better. So yeah, awesome, man.
No worries, man. I was super excited to get to know you. Really cool that you're in the Bay. We'll definitely have to hang out sometime. I'm here for another week, so we'll try to make something happen. And yeah,
Cool.
thanks to everybody who joined in. Good luck on all your guys' ventures. Hope to be part of it.
All right. Peace out, y'all.